It says it's streaming. Maybe keep the phone with you and take it with you. Okay.
Okay, thank you. I think we're on. Okay, looks like that worked.
Great.
All right, that was fun. Sorry about that, everybody. So let's go ahead and start our meeting of the Town Commissioners. This is March 1st, 2021. It is 7:28, and apologies for starting late. We had a little bit of technical difficulty trying to wear a lot of hats tonight. All 5 of our commissioners are in attendance, and we're also joined by our town attorney, Jay Gullo. Jeff, would you like to lead us in the pledge this evening?
Hey, Jeff, do your microphone. Hit the button on your mic.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Bye.
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. So I wanted to just start off our meeting by announcing what we announced earlier. I guess we began announcing it yesterday and then today, that our town manager, Seth Rivard, has resigned effective today. And so that's why you just see your commissioners and your town attorney tonight. And we do wish Seth well in his future endeavors. And this, of course, is now leaving us with the challenge of finding a replacement. And we're very happy that our town clerk, Bobby, has accepted the role of becoming our acting town manager. So congrats to her, and we thank her for that. And I believe we'll need to take a vote this evening to officially appoint her in that capacity. And then we'll also be moving into a closed session this evening after our regular business meeting to discuss putting together an kind of a rough outline of how we're going to move forward in looking for an interim town manager. It's definitely not something that we're going to be able to decide today or this week or probably even next week. But we will start to discuss that tonight and move forward. And unless anyone wanted to say anything else about that, we can move on to other announcements. Okay, so I'll start off with my announcements. Hey. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Martin.
I just got a message. It appears that that we're running the meeting like instead of in grid fashion, like it's just one of us at a time. Is there a setting you can click?
Is that better?
I'm on YouTube looking at it, and
is that better?
let me see. Let me refresh it. Hang on. No.
There usually is a gallery view.
Yeah, look at your view and see if you have speaker view or gallery view. See which one you have checked, Carrie.
Yeah, I just changed it. I just changed it to the.
Oh, there it is. Yep, it just showed up.
Okay, great.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, thanks for that. So I just wanted to go ahead and just say that there's been a series of meetings that David Hidalgo, or our delegate Hidalgo, has been having with lots of stakeholders to talk about White's Ferry. I wasn't able to join the one that happened today, but he did call me afterwards and just reached out and did let me know that it sounds like there's a lot of folks joining these calls. Secretary Slater's office and David Trones, of course, Brian Feldman and Andrew Friedson. It's this sort of ongoing frustration, of course, with the folks over on the Virginia side, but it is still all hands on deck. And I think Jim was able to be on that call, so maybe he'll have some more details on that. But things are still continuing to happen with that, and they are continuing to meet. So even though it's a frustrating process, it is continuing to go on. And we were going to have an events committee meeting, but we ended up pushing that to April. Obviously, we still haven't really planned any events in real time, but there is the idea of discussing some possible virtual events. And then my fledgling economic development committee is going to be meeting again for the first time this year on the 8th. And that's all I have. Martin.
Good. So there was no planning commission meeting. The last planning commission meeting, you've already heard me report on, and the next one, because of the situation with the town manager, has been canceled, and we'll reconvene in April. I did want to say one thing. I know we've been following Matt's health progress closely. And I got it just a few minutes ago. I got a text message from Preston saying he's out of the hospital and he's home now, breathing with oxygen, but that's great news.
I was actually able to talk with him tonight, and
Oh, good.
He sounded better for sure. But
That's great.
Yeah, definitely his breathing is still an issue, but he sounded a lot better. He said that his wife had fallen ill as well, and she's on the mend, and his kids seem to be better. So it was good to hear his voice. Yeah.
Yeah, great. That's all I have right now. Great.
And next is Ed.
All right. So we had our meeting with Sustainable Poolsville last week. And so when we come to our next commissioners meeting, I'm going to spend a little bit more time going into something that we've been asked to look into. And that is, there are two partnerships. There's low cost, low work, but is really focusing on doing more promotion with the solar co-op. And then there's the water Sense campaign with EPA. So when I come back in our next commissioners meeting, I'll go into more detail, but I just want to give you the heads up. I'll be putting that on our agenda to talk about supporting Sustainable Poolsville's effort, where we can do something officially just to do something that's going to endorse this partnership. I'll give you more information when we get together.
Okay, great. And Jim.
So yeah, Carrie was right. We was on the Zoom today with Senator Feldman. Both of our all three of our delegates were on the Zoom. Andrew Friedson was there. Members of the Montgomery County the state DOT, and really the end result is that there's a lot of frustration period with the White's Ferry scenario. I can't give all the details because some of is confidential, but what it's come down to is that the buyer, Chuck Kuhn, has made many, many overtures to the Virginia side, has basically been stalled the entire time, much like what the Browns on this side have had to endure. And basically the opinion is that the Virginia side has actually raised the price since the Kuhns have made the deal to purchase White's Ferry. So, all that being said, I actually do like and appreciate the engagement that we now have on our Maryland side. So with David Fraser Hidalgo taking the lead. Andrew's been very involved too. Kathy Matthews with the county executive's office is up to speed, and the county executive has reached out to the Virginia side, as well as has done it previously and is further engaging with the Virginia side. There's a little hope that this even though that this is probably going to create a study between the two departments of transportation, and you know what happens when you do a study, things just slow down to a slow pace. But to really look at a long-term ferry crossing scenario that would most likely be a public option of some sort. But that's what these planning boards do, and the Department of Transportations do. You know, they're trying to look at overall bigger picture solutions, longer term solutions. So they've floated a couple different ideas out there that they'll be announcing pretty soon, within a week, I think, to talk about what the Department of Transportations are doing. In the meantime, likely, pending a little more information to come in, the town of Poolesville and the Fair Access Committee are going to have to absolutely crank up our advocacy, placing it squarely on the shoulders of Virginia. You know, even though obviously they're on the other side of the river and it's another state, we're going to be the lead burr in the side of Virginia on this. They want to be able to have a strategy. The Maryland side does. And the discussion point today was really to not be counterproductive, at least for the next week or so, or else we'd probably go full bore into it already. But I think that they're going to let the DOTs have like a truce and establish some talking points, and then let us advocate hard against in the Virginia side to come to some sort of solution, because pressure looks like it's the only thing that's going to work. You know, there's other talk about potentially the availability of a second landing. There was talk amongst some of the Virginia politicians about, you know, using it to jumpstart bridge talks, which, you know, I all of them thought that's and what we've heard is that the Virginia DOT has kind of squashed that with the elected officials on the Virginia side. The other thing is that a quick take, as it would be a condemnation, an eminent domain move, is something that's a lot more viable on the Virginia side than it is on the Maryland side in terms of timing. Supposedly they could act fairly quickly on that. So again, that's going to rely on this pressure campaign from our side potentially to help push the ball there. The other thing is that there's some conjecture about how do you do that, a quick take on what is essentially, you know, still what is not necessarily an obvious public transportation issue, even though we all know it's public and there's a public road leading to it and a public road taken away. We know all that. But what they're talking about is potentially establish some sort of official public use and need, so that this taking could potentially happen faster and more equitably for all sides. So there's a lot of irons in the fire. I said I want to stress that in today's meeting in particular, Andrew and David were both push, and also to, I know the county executive's office with Kathy Matthews on the phone today as well on the Zoom was very, you know, wanting to do whatever she could. So all the players were in the room. We're all going to get together again at the end of next week and talk about it again after the DOT gets into it. And then we'll see where this goes. But the Coons are very much excited about getting the ferry opened up. They want to open it up tomorrow. The boats are being maintained. The people are still hired. It could fire up as soon as an agreement's reached. And so that, you know, nothing's changed in that regard, which is a good thing. So that's where we are. If anybody ever has any questions on White's Ferry, they can reach out to me through all the usual methods that people reach out to me. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still talking about fair access. We will be getting together. Fair access will be getting together. We still have a couple, obviously some big things on our agenda, including, you know, getting the school expanded to where we want it to be and talking about wellness. And we'll be dealing with that later on this week. So they're by no means are they backburnered. And we've got a couple big items that we're going to be working on. That's it.
Okay. Jeff.
Well, my report's going to be substantially shorter. But Jim's report was
Sorry,
certainly
Jeff.
very meaty for sure. We have our Parks and Recs and Streets meeting on Wednesday, and I communicated with Mr. Douglas Kenny this earlier today, and it may be postponed to maybe the next week or possibly even held off until next month, but we haven't decided on that. And then I already reported at the last commissioners meeting what we talked about regarding the Parks and Boards the committee on the last month's meeting. So that's my report.
Excellent. Thank you. Next on our agenda is the approval of the minutes. So we have minutes from our February 18th meeting, and then we have 3 closed sessions, February 18th, 19th, and 26th. Is there any discussions or additions to any of the minutes? Would
I
anyone
don't
like?
have any.
Okay. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the minutes?
For our motion that we approve the minutes.
Second by Jeff.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Next on our agenda is our public comment, and we have 2 folks. And I will let them in. Hi, Joy, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Hi, Carrie.
Okay, hi, thanks for joining us. Sorry for the wait. I actually did a test pushing our meeting out to YouTube earlier today, and it went swimmingly, but of course, when we do the real thing, it doesn't work. So sorry about the wait.
That's okay. I called it up and suddenly, without realizing it wasn't today's meeting, I watched February 18th all over again.
Oh, sorry about that.
It's all right.
All right, well, thanks for joining us. And you have 3 minutes and go ahead and make your comments for us. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, commissioners, for the opportunity to speak again this evening. I'm Joy Zucker-Tiemann, a Poolesville homeowner and resident for 16 years. As a board of 5 elected unpaid residents or uncompensated residents, I acknowledge and appreciate the hours you all spend serving in the best interests of our town. It has been my experience in the last 24 hours that many town residents as well as town staff went to bed last night feeling a sense of relief and awoke this morning with the hope that the very essence of Poolesville's down-home charm will hopefully return to our town's leadership once again. But I think it's very fair to say there has been something significantly missing in the overall decision-making process of the past year. 1, there was no seamless transition of power. 2, the historical mandate that the town manager live in Poolesville was discarded. 3, prior to my public comment request at the commissioners meeting on February 1st, there was no evidence of a COVID response plan. Town leadership at that meeting said they would forward me their plan. As of this past Friday, the 26th, there was still no evidence of a plan. So I sent an email to this board making my request again. Midday today, I did finally receive a copy of that plan, which I have to admit at the least needs some work. Number 4, as a result of no evidence of the COVID response plan as recently as last week when a town employee contracted COVID-19, there was simply a void of information from the town manager and this board's leadership, which tragically demonstrates what residents and town staff have experienced in the last 14 months. Number 5, there was no accountability when the new town manager acted to the detriment of this town. Number 6, a necessary 6-month review of the new town manager was never executed. Number 7, there was a complete dismantling of the top-down teamwork ethic. Number 8, ultimately, the dismissiveness of that teamwork component was a complete disservice to our town and its dedicated, hardworking employees. Number 9, it is my understanding that the leadership of this commission intentionally prevented our retiring town manager of 17 years from being involved in the process of screening, hiring, and training his successor. If the best interest of the town is the focus, why would you deliberately prevent a passionate, dedicated, respected, and experienced leader from assisting in this process, let alone seemingly alienate him and such a necessary asset that he is? We need leadership, both in our next town manager and our Board of Commissioners, who do not operate from a position of power, but a position of purpose. Leadership is about inspiring confidence, not threatening consequences. Leadership is teamwork. Leadership is action, not position. We must all question if our town needs more than just simply the resignation of Poolesville's town manager. To fully restore confidence, we must hold accountable those who hired him and condoned his unscrupulous behavior and the tactics he had for more than a year. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I have a question. I guess, I hope Joy will send that to us in an email. And then I think we owe some answers to her important questions.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out how to bring the next person on. Okay, next we have Wayne, who is joining us. Wayne Ringley. Wayne, are you with us? Hi, Wayne, can you hear us?
He's connecting to audio.
Hi, Wayne.
Hi, how's it going?
Hi, thanks for joining us. Sorry for the wait.
No, it's all good.
Having a little bit of technical difficulties earlier, so sorry about that. Thanks for joining us, and if you could just keep your comments to under 3 minutes.
I'm going to try. I even wrote them down.
Go ahead, thanks.
I just wanted to say that, we've been residents of Poolesville now for 14 years. My parents here for 18 years before that. And we really like what Poolesville stands for. And please, we try to offer our recommendations so that we can make Poolesville a better place, so that more people can be involved in these processes. And with the COVID situation that we're now in, it is a little different for people to find out information. So my wife and I actually did some, just from a standard user point of view, some things about the website that we think could be, and some processes that could be updated so that the community can be more involved in certain aspects of what's going on in Poolesville. We noticed that recently, like the agenda for this meeting was posted on Friday, and people had to get in their public comment by, or they're wanting to comment by Monday at noon. We feel that maybe the agendas could be posted earlier, even if it's stated that it's a work in progress, that things may come off the agenda or be added to the agenda, but having the agendas farther out, if possible, would be a great thing, I think, to have on the website. I also think that if a resident wishes to speak at a meeting, we went through it to do this, and we found that the user had to go through several different web pages to then be referred back to another page where they go to request speaking at the meeting. Maybe it would be better at those meetings where public input is allowed is to have the citizen participation link posted right there so that they see the meeting, they see that they can comment, they can click on that link and then request to be able to speak at the meeting. We also think that possibly there would be an addition of a master calendar to the front of the website, so that all the meetings can be available on the front page of the website in the calendar, so that users can go there, see meetings both past and future and that month, to be able to be more involved and be able to reference back to other meetings easier. After I sent in my request to speak at this meeting, we didn't hear anything for days. And so we kind of think it would be good if the town were to at least acknowledge receipt of your request to speak, even if it's not granted or if it's not able to because it's a closed session. But we really think that just a simple, hey, we got your email, it's going to be passed along to XYZ person or whoever, but just acknowledgement would be a very good thing. And finally, the thing that we kind of think that should also happen is that on the website itself, or at least we couldn't find it, documents that go for like the proposed planning developments that are going in, if those documents were were available on the website, not just referring to the Monocacy article or other things that are off the website, that they be on our town Poolesville website so that people can find them. So that's just the comments that we had.
Those are great comments. Thank you.
Thank you,
I mean, we could all get into this, but Wayne, like we've had some turmoil here for our town manager resigned Friday, or I guess effective today, and things have been a little bit bumpy. So we apologize for not getting back to you earlier.
And you're right. We have had
Okay.
a project. This is not really to get into too much of the conversation, but we have had a project to try and get the website back in functional order. So we all made comments. I made notes of all your statements. So if you want to send that by email, that'd be even better. But absolutely, we need to follow up on a number of the things that you pointed out there. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for being here.
Have a good night.
All right, thanks, Wayne.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm getting the hang of this. All right. Old business. The only thing we have on old business tonight is our COVID update. We did mention earlier that one of our town staff had contracted the virus, and thankfully he's doing well. We did recently put in some new COVID protocols in place at town hall, well, for all of our staff really. And I know that we've done testing of all of our staff because of perhaps an abundance. We just wanted to really make sure that all of our staff were tested after we had someone contract the virus. And thankfully, everyone has come back negative now. We will have our entire workforce back on March 4th. Does anyone else want to say anything else about our COVID update? I also noticed that for our zip code, we're up to 218 is our number now.
Maybe I didn't hear it, but Jeff, did you talk about the proposed COVID plan that Jeff's put together?
Yeah, so as far as I know, our new protocols are in place. Those have been disseminated through Bobby to all of our department heads. And we're waiting to hear back from all of our department heads if they have any added restrictions. But I believe that the way they're written now, that they're pretty comprehensive. So thanks to Jeff for starting that project, and thanks to Jay for looking it over, and to everybody's comments.
And Carrie, who's gonna? I noticed that at the end of that plan, there's a place where the employee is supposed to sign that they understand the protocols. How are we going to monitor that we got everyone's signature that we need, so that that they're fully aware, and if they're not following the protocol, we can have some kind of accountability.
Well, Bobby is going to make sure that everybody gets a copy that
Okay.
they'll have to sign. And I believe that we had talked about Friday as being the date to get those in.
Yes, that's correct.
We might want to push that to Monday, however, because most of our staff is going to be coming back on Thursday. So we might want to give them a couple more days to get those in. But
Sure.
And I think it's also important that that our division heads have an opportunity to provide any upgrades or things that might be beneficial before it's totally locked in. But I think it's Jeff, great start with that. I think it's a very comprehensive piece that you took the lead in putting together. So and then I think when we get some of the staff feedback, would be helpful to even up level it. So good work.
Yep. Good work.
Thank you.
great.
Well, I do have a question. I have the original document on my laptop right here, and my laptop is backed up three or four different ways because I take care of all that. But I should really put that document, the original, somehow on the town Google Drive or whatever we might have.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So should I just email the original Word document to Bobby and she can put it on the Google Drive?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's what I'll do.
Yeah. I think right now she has the PDF, so that'd be great if you could give her the original.
Right.
Thanks.
Because we may need to tweak that a little bit, or she may need to tweak that a little bit here and there.
Exactly right.
Great. So now we're on to new business appointment of Bobby Evans as acting town manager. So like I mentioned earlier, we have asked her if she would take on the responsibilities as acting town manager, and she did accept. So would someone like to make an official motion?
Yeah, I move that we promote Bobby to interim town manager.
Great. Is there a second?
Second that motion.
I thought the word was acting town manager.
Yeah, acting.
Yeah, acting.
Okay, acting. If I didn't say acting town manager.
Yeah, I second the motion for the acting town manager.
Thank you. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Motion carries. Thanks. And congratulations to Bobby. Next, we have the renting of ball fields and soccer fields and the camp registration. So I checked in with staff today about the status of our ball field rentals. And it looks like Preston has noted that the ball fields themselves will be ready by the end of March. So I think that's important information for all of our coaches out there. We are going to institute a March 8th deadline for the permits. And permits can be requested via the website. And then Kathy explained to me that basically what happens is she then takes all of the permits, works out a schedule, and then contacts all of the coaches for payment. And the payment is $5 an hour for a field. So I think what we are being asked to do tonight is to basically just approve the fact that we're opening up the soccer and ball fields basically as of the end of the last week of this month. Is that correct, Jay? Is that pretty much what we're doing?
That's right. And this only deals with the ball fields, not the camp.
Not what, Jay?
Not the camp. That's a separate issue.
Yeah, so we'll address that in a minute. So is there any discussion about this or?
Yeah, I have a question. Are, with all the COVID restrictions still existing, are we, I'm not quite sure, does Montgomery County, I guess I should look this up myself, but has Montgomery County opened up they have many ball fields, even Owens Park and others nearby?
They have. I think we received an email from Kathy today with the schedule that they're moving on, and they have as well opened up county fields. And this is basically what we did last season. We had closed the fields and then we ended up opening them back up. We ended up following basically the county recommendations. So we would basically be doing the same thing this time.
We'll put that information. I'm asking the question that we'll share that information for coaches who come to get that, so there's no surprises or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So does anyone want to entertain a motion to open up the ball fields?
Yeah, okay, I'll do it. I make a motion that we approve opening up the ball fields on March 1st.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Sure, I'll second the motion. As long as we follow those protocols that are in place.
Yep.
Thank you. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Was it 4?
I had yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
in favor.
Thank you.
Yeah.
5-0, right?
Thank you, 5-0. Okay, and so the other issue is the camp, and I spoke with Bobby today about the summer camp, and it sounds like at this time we're not ready to open up registration for the camp because we just wouldn't meet the qualifications per the COVID restrictions for the number of kids that we could have. So I think at this time, there's nothing to decide to take a vote on. I think we're just sort of still in a holding pattern with that. Okay.
Good.
The last thing on our list is for new business is Human Resources Department. And we added this to our agenda because, recent events and the fact that we've been dealing with personnel issues at the town of Poolesville has really kind of shone a light on the fact that we don't have a lot of human resources in place at the town. And so I think that's something that we all agree is really important and will really help us in the future. So, my feeling is that we'd really like to just direct staff to get the ball rolling, perhaps solicit outside consultants who can come up with work with us to come up with an HR plan. Does anyone else have any thoughts?
Yeah, I think we need to get a consultant in here that can spend, I don't know, whatever it takes, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and sort of top to bottom, like a really robust HR plan for every different scenario. I mean, like this is one of the weaknesses we've seen that we came into like almost no HR information, materials, processes, anything. And so I don't know that, I'm not sure that it's appropriate to start it with an acting town manager versus when we get an interim town manager. I know we're going to discuss this a little bit later, but we've all agreed that we're going to do some kind of a search to try to find like a qualified interim town manager, and this person, he or she, should be well versed in HR stuff so that they could work with a consultant, in my opinion. That's one of the things I'm going to be looking for, hopefully, in an interim town manager, is someone that has experience with HR and like can work with somebody and put this together for us. And I'd really like to get it done quickly. I don't think we have a lot of time to let this one ride. I think this needs to be addressed as soon as possible. I don't know that addressing it tomorrow makes sense because, you know, I'm not sure it's fair to ask Bobby to work on this with everything else she's got going on. But we need to address it soon.
Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, I was going to offer to do a little bit of research and make some telephone calls and see what I can find out in terms of an HR consultant or an HR temporary person, something like that, that can help us put together the policies and procedures and all of the, it's a whole spectrum of things that we don't have and that we do need. So, you know, if the group agrees, I can start to just get some details and report back.
Jeff, you can, as far as I'm concerned, you can do all that, but I think this is definitely wait till at least an interim town manager, if not the permanent town manager, comes in. We went 152 years without an HR department. And yes, it hasn't been good lately for a variety of reasons, but I think whoever we hire is likely going to have, I'm going to insist on it when we're interviewing candidates, that's going to have HR experience. And they may or may not decide what level of HR help we're going to get. These things cost money.
Right.
If we hire a town manager that has HR experience, we might be able to get something that they can put together. Or if we need to all decide, including the new town manager, either interim or new town manager, we have something that works for them. Like I wouldn't want to be again I wouldn't, if you're running a team, you don't hire the manager, you hire the general manager, and the general manager hires the manager. So I'm not sure that I feel like bringing in a consultant or spending any kind of money on something like that until we have a little more leadership at the town manager position. It certainly can't be staff, because every time we say staff, that actually just means Jay and or Bobby. Yeah. So staff is going to have their hands full.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion. I'm not trying to downplay the need. I just want to make sure we have it at the right time.
Go ahead, Ed.
Sure. Well, my recommendation, hopefully, can you guys hear me coming through? I've been having some microphone issues.
Yeah.
But all right, my recommendation first is let's go ahead and look at that criteria of what we need for an interim manager, and then go through that process and make sure that we have a very nice, transparent process of looking at whoever's going to come into that slot. As it relates to HR, I think that we need to come up with a timeline in terms of what we want to do. We need to look at what are our HR needs, and then perhaps maybe there's a consultant that works with our interim town manager or our new town manager. And maybe there is a HR audit. Maybe there's a consultant that could come in, do an HR audit, show us where our strengths are, our weaknesses, our opportunities, our vulnerabilities, what really needs to be enhanced. And along with that HR audit, then there is some recommendations. But I think that's something that's done in tandem with a solid town manager, or if we have an interim town manager who can work with HR person, and we have to talk about what that would look like in terms of what are those qualifications that we're looking for, and then be able to put that out as an open bid. But I think we don't want to jump the gun, but I definitely think it's something that we definitely need to have. And I think an outside person could give us a very fair audit. And then I think working with a person that we trust to help lead the organization and lead the staff, the two working together would be the direction to move in. Yeah,
and I understand Jim's point, but I just don't know that, like, if it takes 4 or 5 or 6 months to get a new town manager in here, I don't know that I kind of feel like we should have something in place before that. I do see the advantage of waiting, but like Ed said, if we got someone in here that as an interim town manager that's versed in this kind of stuff, maybe they could work with it.
I'm just looking forward to having somebody besides Jay and Bobby have to dig in on it. And it could be the interim, especially if they have the ability. So
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I don't think that right now that we do anything besides with Jay and Bobby, besides let them run the town as best they can.
Yeah, I agree.
Without interference and without new tasks.
Yep.
So,
Agreed.
Well, I think it was at least good for us to start the conversation about this, because I think we all agree that it's definitely necessary, and it's something that we need to be having this discussion in a transparent way. So it's good
Yes.
to start talking about it.
Agreed.
And I think that we continue the conversation as we weave into those key characteristics we're looking for in an interim person. And then we continue that conversation with the interim person who gets a chance to see things firsthand.
Yep.
All right, I'll leave it at that for right now. Thanks.
So that's all that we have on our agenda for this evening.
All right. I make a motion, we adjourn.
That's into closed session for personnel, right?
Yeah, I make a motion, we adjourn into closed session for personnel matters.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Jeff.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
So use the other link, Carrie.
Yes.